Hello there! It's good to have you here. I'm the Last Mixer, and welcome back to the channel where it's the first time I get to say hello there in a Star Wars video.
Hello there.
And I gotta say, what a rush of dopamine it was. Our journey into the epic space opera begins today with a little old game from 2005, Republic Commando. I was holding off on playing this one for the channel, and boy am I glad I did, cause once you go commando, you never go back. As someone who had never played the game before, I had high hopes for the experience. I mean, it's very difficult to make me dislike Star Wars, although Disney managed to do so somehow. Recent trials and tribulations aside though, Republic Commando managed to not only exceed my expectations as a Star Wars game, but make most of the other first-person shooters I have played feel like a bunch of 7-year-olds with water guns fighting over who's the best at Fortnite. It not only presents a load of unique and interesting ideas to the first-person shooter genre, but tells a clever, gritty, and downright awesome tale within the Star Wars universe, combining familiar elements from the movies with some new things that make for a fresh experience with surprisingly solid replay value. Star Wars Republic Commando was developed and published by LucasArts and released on February 28, 2005, almost 3 months before the prequel trilogy concluded with Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and the devs stated that it was meant to bridge the gap between Episodes 2 and 3. It also came out during what many call the golden age of Star Wars gaming, from roughly 2003 to 2008. The peak of awesomeness started with Knights of the Old Republic, and included other classics like Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Battlefront 1 and 2, Empire at War, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, the surprisingly not terrible Revenge of the Sith movie tie-in game, The Force Unleashed, and of course the one in the spotlight today, Republic Commando. So, what makes it so awesome? Let's find out. Our commandoing of the Republic variety begins with a short intro cutscene explaining who you are and what the frick is happening. The game takes place during the heat of the Clone Wars, where battles between the Republic and the Separatists rage endlessly across the galaxy. You are Delta 38, nicknamed Boss, and the leader of Delta Squad, an elite group of Republic commandos, soldiers with far superior training and skills than your average clone trooper. Naturally, with the increased penis size,
What I do have are a very particular set of skills.
yeah, that'll do. With these 6 skills, they get sent on the most dangerous missions across the galaxy.
Reinforcements are currently unavailable, so watch each other's backs in there.
And the game has 3 major acts, the first on the Mars-like Geonosis, the second on a huge derelict Republic assault ship, and the final on the forested Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk. The game wastes no time in letting you hit the ground running, and after some combat on the war-torn and dusty as balls planet of Geonosis, you're introduced to the 3 members of Delta Squad, the first of which is Scorch.
Woohoo! Eat plasma, you stupid droids! Yeah! Have some of that!
He is the demolitions expert.
Scorch, I need you to demo their bunker for me.
Good. I'm dying to blow something up.
And wisecracker at heart, constantly annoying everyone with his jokes and lighthearted approach to rather serious situations.
The size of that thing.
There's the core ship, sir. Are you sure, 40? Maybe there's another one around the corner.
Next is Fixer, the group slicer.
Uploading and linking with your visor, sir.
He's a smart soldier with a mission-first attitude, like most clones are, and in a lot of ways he is the middle ground between Scorch and the final member, Sev.
Coordinate 07 is now in your vicinity and remaining covert. See you there, caution.
07 locking into your HUD, sir.
Getting acquainted with the locals, eh, Sev?
That was fun.
Where's Sunfac?
In the next room, boss. Don't worry. I saved some targets for you guys.
He is the sniper of Delta Squad, gruff and serious with a love for fighting and a grim sense of humor,
Rule 17. Always make sure they're dead.
but also a big appreciation for kills that require higher skill.
Set up there, Delta.
Yes, sir. Though there's no sport in such a weapon.
Now, I don't think the game would have been half as good as it is if they hadn't been able to nail the whole squad dynamic, but when done this well, it becomes the best thing about the game. The whole brothers in arms vibe is at the forefront of the action here, and I love it, man. Each member of Delta Squad has a role to play, and the interactions and dialogue between them are easily the best parts of the story.
Sev, how many kills you got today, Psycho?
With a new wise guy.
Keep this comm clear, you two. This place gives me the creeps. These strange egg-like things. Looks like we're in some sort of Geonosian birthing chamber, gentlemen. What do you know? They are eggs.
Let's give them a wide berth just to be safe.
Just when you think they can't get any more disgusting.
Begin snipe maneuver, Delta.
Readying weapon.
3. You sure sure you don't want someone who can shoot straight.
And it's some of the most well-written dialogue I've ever seen in a Star Wars game, really.
Locate turret controls and commence disabling maneuvers.
Disabling maneuvers.
Blowing things up.
Oh, I knew that. Damn, I don't believe it.
What's wrong, Sev?
I lost count of my kills.
Did I miss anything important?
No. Did you get the data?
Yeah, they searched me, but I hid the data pretty well.
Where exactly?
You don't want to know.
Huh, funny how the games have done dialogue better than the prequel movies ever managed to.
I don't like sand.
Anyway, the members of Delta Squad, including yourself as the leader, voiced by the absolute legend Tamura Morrison,
Alone against all these droids? They don't stand a chance.
who played the clones and Jango Fett in the Star Wars prequels, and Boba Fett in the more recent Book of Boba Fett. We'll all banter back and forth, but we'll mostly cut the chatter while fighting because at the end of the day, they are still professional soldiers with a mission to complete.
Ready harnesses, Deltas. Down we go.
Point me at the enemy and stay out of my way.
Got the chatter, Sev.
What I was impressed with the most, though, was how many things they react to, and how each member's personality shines in even the simplest of sentences and or actions.
Commence demolitions maneuver, Delta.
One fireball special coming right up. Let's go.
I'm really going to rack up the kills.
Not if I get him first. Just don't get so caught up in counting that you forget to cover me. First the flanking. I'm shooting, boss.
Even during mission briefings, they'll be doing something.
Indicates that there are several factories buried deep underground, but they are impenetrable to our large assault forces. Heat signatures emanating from this spire tell us there is a factory below.
I love how in this part when the signal starts to cut out at the end of the briefing, Fixer and Sev pretty much just take it in stride and don't react, while Scorch starts tapping his helmet.
Be sporadic. Inside, so you're on your own until that...
It's all in the little details, folks. If you fire your weapon when nothing is around, they'll all be a little confused.
See it goes 3-8.
When you score a kill, they'll notice.
Nice hit, boss.
And when you get incapacitated, you can bet they'll have something to say about it.
Something nailed the leader. Can I be in charge now?
The small details here are so important, and they contribute greatly to the overall theme of brotherhood. It's all about having each other's back and fighting together as a unit. While it's still a first-person shooter at its core, Republic Commando adds tactical, squad-based game mechanics to keep things engaging. You're able to give your squad various general commands, and they'll adjust their movements accordingly. You can also order them to various positions, like sniping or anti-armor spots. How and when you use these commands is the key to success, or failure. One wrong command can be disastrous, but if you can manage to think fast in the heat of battle and get your squad mates to advantageous positions on the battlefield, you can breeze through some encounters. They do get stuck sometimes, although I'm honestly surprised the AI is as solid as it is, well, at least for your fellow commandos, as they'll take matters into their own hands sometimes, automatically throwing a grenade after breaching a door or using EMP grenades on droids instead of biological lifeforms, whom they are less effective on. It's a really dynamic system where you must be aware of where your squad mates are, and always be thinking of your next move. Positioning is everything, and you learn this very quickly. For me, well, I tend to struggle with something as simple as thinking of a funny comeback on the spot, so I found it a wee bit challenging to manage all of these commands while also being shot at, and that is one particular thing that Republic Commando excels at. Making you feel like a soldier in the Clone Wars, with all the stress, excitement, and tension of being in such a conflict, and seeing as that was the intent of the game, well, I would say job well done indeed.
We need a medic over here!
The visuals help a lot here, particularly the HUD, and everything is centered around the Republic Commando helmet. You're looking through the helmet's visor for the entire game, and with no cutscenes apart from the intro that pull you away from this view, it's a permanent thing until you're done playing. All the information you need is displayed through your helmet too, from ammo and health indicators to the status of your squad mates, just as it logically would be. Even the subtitles are displayed through your helmet, and instead of white letters that take up the entire bottom of the screen, it's small, vertically scrolling text that doesn't take up too much space, but is still easy to read. When you stand near signal jamming devices or get too close to hostile scavenging droids, your visor will start to glitch and go all static from the interference. But my favorite feature of the visor is when everything goes dark and you get to switch visor modes. It just looks so cool, man, and these are some of the most badass and scary sections of the game. Also, if you're standing close to something when it dies, well, Droids will explode and cover your visor in oil, and biological organisms like the insectoid Geonosians and reptilian Trandoshans will die in slimy glory. It's another layer of grit and grime that may not seem like a big deal, but it's important, because even the slightest touches can add realism and create a more immersive experience for the player. If you get too close to slightly more volatile things like explosions, then get some Bacta, soldier!
Retrieving Bacta.
The weapons you get to make things go splat or boom are all pretty neat too. They function a little differently than most first-person shooters, where you have a basic pistol with unlimited ammo and a recharge function so you can't spam fire it for too long, and a single gun with 3 attachments, a basic full-auto blaster rifle, sniper with 2 zoom levels,
Sniper mode. Moving to
Very
cover.
accurate. Very deadly.
an explosive launcher that functions very similar to a grenade launcher.
An anti-armor attachment. This should come in handy against all these droids.
Anti-armor. Oh, this is nice, boss. Very nice piece of ordnance here.
You also have 1 slot for a special weapon. You'll come across these over the course of the game, but they usually get dropped by enemies or can sometimes just be lying around. The interesting thing about these is that they are specific to the environment you're navigating, and can't usually be reacquired once you leave, at least not just by coming across them. The Geonosian laser beam weapon is dropped by the elite warriors, but once you leave Geonosis, you rarely see it. Same thing goes for the shotgun dropped by Trandoshan pirates raiding a Republic ship in the 2nd chapter. It makes sense that the boarding parties would carry a close-quarters weapon for the tight hallways of a ship, but after leaving the ship, you don't see it as often. The Wookiee bowcaster and rocket launcher are found, yeah, you guessed it, on the Wookiees' homeworld of Kashyyyk, in their villages and camps. I could see someone being disappointed, maybe, that you don't unlock these weapons once you find them, but again, it ties back into the realism factor, where the commandos wouldn't really be lugging around all these wacky and wonderful weapons that could be cumbersome, and that they may not even know how to use properly. All they need is their main weapon that they are familiar with, some attachments for it, and some good old grenades. It's kind of a refreshing weapon system that not too many games seem to employ. Your squad mates carry the same weapons, and a nice little touch is that during the opening cutscene, you can see your main weapon and the 3 attachments that you'll get for it in the background. Very cool little detail. Republic Commando adds a lot of these types of details, and it helps build the world around you. A lot of the missions are pretty damn straightforward, usually boiling down to go blow this up, disable this, set this charge here, commando power. It's all well and good, but the atmosphere and tone set it apart from pretty much every other Star Wars game out there. While the Battlefront games were more about all-out warfare on a grand scale between different factions in different eras, and Knights of the Old Republic is an epic, sprawling, story-driven RPG, Republic Commando narrows down the focus to just be on Delta Squad and what they go through, and the more intimate battles. It pulls no punches in telling you a gritty war story. Everyone knows how
War never changes.
and that is on full display here. Republic Commando is about boots-on-the-ground combat, getting your hands dirty, and fighting through the muck and grime. In Chapter 1, you'll do battle with the insectoid Geonosians, you see them snatch your fellow soldiers from gunships, and you'll fight your way through the dark tunnels where their larvae are hatching, and the nasty little bastards even spit poison at you. How rude. In Chapter 2, you'll unravel the mystery at the heart of a derelict Republic cruiser, blasting reptilian Trandoshans through tight corridors and navigating dark vents on this huge cruiser. And this section very much gave me Dead Space vibes, even if the horror was toned down quite a lot in comparison. On Kashyyyk, you'll traverse dense forests, but also trek through trenches World War I style and fight alongside the Wookiees, whose planet is being invaded both by the droid armies and Trandoshan slavers. The atmosphere and surroundings may change, but the tone remains gritty, and the world carries a dark sense of conflict and strife. All of this is greatly helped out by the music too, and I mean, how about the music, man? Holy nuts! It gives an epic and foreboding edge to everything, and honestly, all I can really say is, just hook it to my veins! I really can't express how much I love the music in this game, and the funny thing is, the original music is just as good as the classic Star Wars music, which I can't play or the House of the Mouse will come to take me away, but yeah, I think everyone knows how awesome John Williams is and the legendary work he did for the Star Wars movies, and that music is, of course, here too. The sound design is even more of that good old Star Wars magic, and everything from blaster fire to Wookiee roars is right on the money, and sounds perfect.
Droids. I heard something.
NANI?! One thing I noticed quite a lot is the sound of the droidekas, which are rolling droids with mobile shields. The sound design is so great that you get an early warning sign when they are coming, as you can hear the metal clanking against the ground as they roll.
Moving to cover. Droidekas.
Almost makes me want to start a heavy metal band called Rollin' Metal. Before we get into more story and spoilers, does Republic Commando have any problems? Not really. There are a couple of grievances that I have, like your AI squad mates getting stuck, which I mentioned earlier, some crashing issues that might have been caused by my recording software, because it's not modern recording software if you don't have problems recording something. Some of the enemies are a little bullcrap, like the Trandoshan tank with a heavy repeater, the Star Wars equivalent of a machine gun that can kill you with like 2 bullets. And it's a fully automatic bastard. But hey, at least if you manage to kill the tanky son of a gun, you get to pick it up and return the favor. Sometimes the game will send droid spawners at you that will regularly spawn droids, not a problem for the basic run-of-the-mill battle droids, but sometimes there will be spawners for the super tanky, super battle droids. And the only way to destroy the spawner seems to be attaching a detonator to it that takes 20 seconds to arm, which is literally eternity in the middle of a firefight. It's not a big problem, and I guess if anything it encourages teamwork and smart positioning, which is the name of the game, or at least the whole point of it. Corpses will get stuck in walls too, which isn't even a point against it, because it's just hilarious. So, crash issues, AI glitches, and corpses in walls. I do believe I just described modern gaming. Or maybe just gaming. Whatever I described and whatever problems I might have, it's not nearly enough to degrade the overall experience. And speaking of that overall experience and the big picture, we're gonna get into story spoilers now, so click away if you don't want the game ruined for you.
Tactical nuke incoming!
The story revolves around Delta Squad's various excursions, and they get tasked with taking out enemy installations, sabotaging supply lines, and generally being a pain in the ass to anyone fighting the Republic. The story culminates with your squad separating to man 4 heavy turrets in order to take down a massive separatist ship. After you succeed in blowing yet another thing up, things start to go a little wrong.
Boss, I've got a problem here.
Sev, where are you?
Multiple hostiles.
So yeah, it seems as if Sev's position gets overrun by something and radio contact ends abruptly, much to the chagrin of Scorch and Fixer. You get orders to evac, but being the Giga Chad that Boss is, he politely tells his advisor to shove the order somewhere else. However, after learning that the order came directly from Master Yoda himself, they make the tough call to board the gunship and leave Sev to his fate. Before the final scene, the game drops a chilling line about the painful reality of the Republic Commando is that duty must come before brotherhood. Man, right in the feels. For a game built entirely on the concept of brotherhood, this is one hell of a way to end the game, and even behind the iconic helmets, you can see the pain of Scorch and Fixer and feel their loss. You spend almost every moment with your brothers, fighting by their side, and when you help them, you know they'll be right there the next moment to do the same for you. It's a cold finish to a red-hot game, and it's not the happy ending many might be looking for. Now, apparently Sev's fate is explained in one of the books, but I'm a gamer, I can't read words on paper. Are you out of your goddamn mind? As such, I'll be waiting until they release a sequel to find out. I might be here a while. Speaking of waiting for things that might never happen, why in the Republic balls hasn't this game gotten a remake yet? You did it with Resident Evil, you did it with Dead Space, even The Last of Us got a remake, and Republic Commando is 8 freaking years older than the original Last of Us game. But don't my Commando boys deserve some high-definition goodness? This game absolutely deserves a remake, and the fact that it hasn't happened yet and no word has come out in regards to it is a freaking travesty. I still think it should have gotten a remake long before The Last of Us did, and I love The Last of Us. It's one of my favorite games of all time, but come on. Republic Commando is a fantastic game with an awesome story about the harsh realities of of war and the bonds of brotherhood, with kick-ass gameplay and some of the best music in any Star Wars game to match. Each member of Delta Squad is instantly likable, and their camaraderie is what lifts the game to incredible heights, letting it soar above many others. It's a testament to how good Star Wars games can and should be. When Star Wars is treated with respect, and when people who actually give a damn about it pour their passion into it, you get games like Knights of the Old Republic, Battlefront 2, and Republic Commando, among others, true works of art that stand the test of time. It's not to say that they haven't aged or that they are perfect, but people remember them, and they remember them in a positive light. At the end of the day, I'm super happy I chose to play this game for you folks. I had a really good time with it, and that is why Republic Commando is still one of the best Star Wars games ever made. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then consider giving it a like and subscribing. The support is always appreciated. Much love, take care, and until next time.